Call the Blackhawk County Board of Supervisors meeting to order for November 7th, 2017. Roll call, Mr. Veeder.
Leyland.
Here.
Little.
Here.
Schwartz.
Here.
White.
Here.
Magsman.
Here. Take a moment of silence to reflect on actions. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1 is the agenda received as proposed or as amended. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Time for public comments. Anyone wishing to address the board on any item that is not on the agenda, please do so now. Not seeing any, we move on to years of service award to employees with 20 or more years of service. Grant?
We have 2 service awards today for people with 20 years of service. One is Julie A. Wentz from Country View, and one from the Health Department, Mariana R. Robinson, both with 20 years of service.
So the individuals are not here today, but we want to thank them for their many years of service. Thank you, Grant. Item 4 is claims and payments. First one is approve expenditures for Blackhawk County.
The county's expenditures this week total $196,639.50, 196,639.50. Everything appears to be in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, please answer as your name is called.
Leyland.
Yes.
Little.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Magsman.
Yes. Item B is a resolution that Board of Supervisors approve expenditures for Country View Care Facility.
Country View's expenditures this week total $347,315.24, 347,315.24. That includes about $313,000 in October benefits.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, please answer as your name is called.
Little.
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Leyland.
Yes.
Magsman.
Yes. Item 5 is receive project updates from department heads, elected officials.
Good morning, Board. Kathy Nicholas.
Good morning.
County Engineer. This week, crews are cutting brush, and in our office, we have staff that are doing bridge inspections for the next several weeks on the counties in the southern portion, the bridges in the southern portion of the county. I did want to report back to you on the flashing white and blue lights that you had asked me about last week. And this is concerning the lights being placed on snowplows, particularly the Iowa DOT snowplows. So the DOT was given permission in state law in 2005, that legislative session. They were given permission to do some pilot projects by placing the white and blue flashing lights, strobe lights, on their snowplows. This was an exception to the state law, as I understand it. In speaking with Iowa DOT Office of Maintenance last week, for the past 2 winters, they have done pilot projects primarily in the Des Moines area. They've placed the blue and white lights on 170 plows in the metro area down in the Des Moines area. And then last season, they did expand to 50 or 60 more plows throughout the state. They see very good results from placing the blue and white strobing lights on the snow plows. They are primarily being used, of course, on their high-speed facilities, the multi-lane roads in particular. They've seen a lot of benefit. Their accident rates with their snowplows have gone from approximately 2,000 truck hours to approximately 9,000 truck hours or plow hours. The lights are, there's a blue light on one side and a white light on the other, and they flash, and they can only project backwards to the rear. Oncoming traffic does not directly see that blue or white light flashing. They're placing these lights on all of their plows now. Every plow they buy new does have a blue and white light on each side, and also they use an amber strobing light when they are not plowing. They can only be used in snow plowing conditions. As far as I can tell, and speaking with the DOT, this law did not apply to anyone but the Iowa DOT. The DOT is working to get the law changed permanently, perhaps in this legislative session, because the law does sunset in 2019. So it is maybe possible that we could adopt this, have authority to use these lights in the future. I guess that remains to be seen.
Thank you, Kathy,
Yes,
for
thank you.
doing the follow-up on that. Appears that it does take legislative action to get approval to use those blue and white lights. Any other departments? Elected officials? None. Move on to item 6, approval of the minutes of October 31st, 2017. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Item 7, we have a hearing that is scheduled for 9:05. This would be bid opening for the proposed courthouse chiller project. Item 8 is the consent agenda. This is by a single resolution.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on any of these items? Hearing none, please answer as your name is called.
Schwartz,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Magsman.
Yes. Resolution approved. Item 9, contracts and agreement. Resolution that the agreement between the Health Service Network and administrative agreement between Blackhawk County and Preferred One Administrative Services to allow the employer to make payments of administrative service fees and other expenses in accordance with their fee schedule
I'll move.
be approved and direct
Second.
chair to sign for same, as recommended by Debbie Bunger, Human Resource Director. We have a motion and a second on the resolutions. Any discussion? Hearing none, please answer as your name is called.
White,
Yes.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
Magsman.
Yes. Item A is resolution that the request for purchase of capital equipment submitted by Kim Veeder, Informational Technology Director, be approved and direct chair to sign for same to purchase a computer server from Proactive Solutions CDW-G for $6,083.34 to be used at Country View facility.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, this resolution, please answer as your name is called.
Leyland,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Schwartz.
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Magsman.
Yes. Item B is the hearing bid opening that was scheduled for 9:05. It is now 9:11. Motion to receive and place on file a publication notice, public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried.
Motion close the hearing after oral written comments. Second.
Do we have any written comments, Mr. Veeder?
Oh, sir.
Anyone wishing to address the board on this item, or the board have any comments? Hearing none, we have a motion to close the hearing. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Item 3 is bids to be received, open and read. The deadline was 3 p.m. Monday, November 6, 2017.
Budgeted, Rory, was $430.
We budgeted $430,000 for this
Okay.
project. And just note, we did receive 2 bids for this project. The first one is from Plum Tech, Waterloo, Iowa. Plum Tech's bid amount is $613,920. 613,920. And we did receive a bid bond along with that. Second bid is from Young's Plumbing and Heating Company. Bid amount is $567,100. 567,100. Sorry. And we did receive a bid bond with that as well.
Rory, for this type of work, there was only 2 vendors. This area have support more than 2 vendors, or?
We actually had, at our pre-bid meeting, we actually had 7 mechanical contractors attend that pre-bid, along with several subcontractors, for example, electricians, sheet metal, what have you.
What do you think the reason we only got 2 bids out of it? The timing is next year, right? So they got plenty of time for scheduling.
Yeah, actually, we're going to start this project soon, this winter. We did discuss this with the engineer. We were quite surprised that we only received the 2 bids. Both of these bids are larger companies in the area. We did have a company out of Cedar Rapids that has done work for us in the past. I expect that they felt they weren't going to be competitive with the local companies. A couple other companies were a little smaller than these 2. If you recall, when we did our chiller projects for both Pinecrest and the jail, we ran into a similar situation where we ended up with these 2 larger companies within this area. So I'm surprised, but yet not too surprised.
I guess any reason why this is almost $140,000 over your projected cost?
Well, as we had talked about at budget time last year, we knew we had an issue with our well, and we knew that we had to present this plan to the Iowa DNR. To allow us to continue to use that well, they did require us to put in some extra equipment, and that extra equipment, for an example, is a heat exchanger. That is a quite expensive piece of equipment, but what that does is it prevents any cross-contamination into our well. As you recall, at budget time, we had a couple of worst-case scenarios. This isn't quite the worst case. Worst case would have been to eliminate the well altogether and come up with another water source. So we felt pretty fortunate that the DNR came back with this response and this need for the heat exchanger versus the alternate.
Didn't we eliminate the well at the jail?
Yes, we did.
Hooked up to city water.
We actually run our chillers over there off of 2 cooling towers, yes,
When
as well as Pinecrest.
when the specs were actually changed then, after the fact, due to the DNR requesting.
Correct. The engineer, once we were able to hire on the engineer then contacted the DNR with the preliminary specifications. DNR then reviewed that and gave us their requirements that they needed for this project. So we did anticipate there being some additional expense. We were hopeful, based on what we've spent over at the jail for a very similar chiller, we were using that, or I was using that at budget time as my template for this project, but not knowing exactly what was going to be the requirements with the DNR. That was the missing piece of
Did you
information.
have an engineering firm on this?
Yes, Compon Engineering.
And they didn't see the need for the heat exchanger?
This Capon was hired after the budget number was put in place. So we budgeted for it last year, and then we took it out for bid. The professional services, we took that out for bid. And it was at that time when we started making contact with the DNR with the engineered specifications. Prior to that, we didn't have engineered specifications. So as a result of not having that ability to have that engineer involved from day one at the budget process, being as we took that out for bid, we didn't have those specifications.
Is
in our
that normal?
hands. It has been, yeah.
I don't know, you're gonna have to take a good look at that.
We will. Well, I'll review it. I will also pass it on to our engineer and come back next week with our recommendation.
Our current chiller has some maintenance issues with it.
Yeah, if you recall last year, it's a 250-ton chiller. If you recall, we had approximately 32 tubes that were breached, and so we had to cap those tubes at the tune of just under $9,000. So by doing that, we reduced the capacity of that chiller by quite a bit. That chiller is 23 years old, so typical lifespan is in the 20-year range.
What did we spend for total repairs on it? It was more than 9,000, wasn't it?
Last year, we spent approximately $9,000, but through the lifetime of that chiller, I don't have that information with me, but this particular chiller at the courthouse has been pretty maintenance-free. We haven't had a lot of mechanical issues with it. I know other chillers, for an example, at Pinecrest and the jail, it was, I think, at least on 2 occasions, we spent over $50,000 to replace the compressor. So that's what we're trying to avoid with this particular chiller is to change it out before we get into that situation. The new chiller is a modular system, so it does allow us to get easy access into the mechanical room, and modular meaning it comes in 5 sections, and so it's designed to come through a doorway, whereas 23 years ago, the chiller, we had to remove part of the foundation of the courthouse on the north side, or City Hall side, to get that chiller in. So that's one positive of this particular configuration. The other positive is if we do have a compressor failure or a large ticket item failure, this system gives us the ability to bypass that particular section of the chiller and keep running. That way it doesn't put us into an emergency type purchase situation. So it does give us a lot of flexibility with those regards. Same thing we did over at the jail.
When you review this and bring it back to the board, would you also review to see if there's any projects, falls under FY18?
Yes.
If there's any other projects you can back off on and divert that money towards this one?
I'll take a look at that. Yeah.
Motion review and place on file.
Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Item 11 is any reports or information from board members. Hearing none, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you.